Why did you decide to come to Germany? What are the challenges did you face?
In 2022, I passed out the course.
Tell me about your FSP exam experience.
My exam was in April.
Tell me about the work scenario. Are they friendly? Are they open about the foreign people? Are they racist or do you face any racism?
The clinic where I worked,
What are your thoughts and what are your suggestions to the all parents who wants to come to the Germany? Hello everyone, this is Dr. Swapnil Chandratre here. We have a very special guest today. Doctor will introduce herself. Please, doctor, tell us about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Anne Mary. I'm from Kerala. I'm here in Germany since past 7 months. Came here in October. I did my course in Kerala itself and I passed out in 2022. Since past 7 months I'm here and I cleared my Fachsprachprüfung last month.
First of all, congratulations on clearing your FSP exam. We all know that this process takes a lot of time, and it will test your patience and all that. But tell us about your experience. That how did you execute this process? Why did you decide to come to Germany? And what are the challenges did you face?
In 2022, I passed out the course and I was thinking of moving to a country. I worked for a year in a clinic. I was thinking of moving to a to a different country. And there were so many options. Canada was the first option. Actually, to be honest, Canada was my first option. I even dropped the IELTS and I cleared it as well. But then, when I researched more about it, it was actually nearly impossible to become a dentist in Canada. I came to know about the situations like the exams are really difficult to clear them to find a job. Those things are actually very difficult. Then I came to know about Germany and then changed my plan to Germany and then started to uh, learn German. Actually, after three months after learning IELTS and passing that, I started to learn German. It took nearly 1 year to complete the language, and in the meantime, I got married and all. It was difficult to go through this at the same time having these personal things and also learning the language and doing those procedures are difficult. And after the exam, I waited for nearly 7, 8 months, I think, to get the Bescheid. And yeah, immediately after getting the Bescheid, I got the visa. And yeah, after the Bescheid, everything was fast. Everything went on very fast. Yeah, but till then, that was difficult. It took a lot of time.
How did you manage to execute this process?
Actually, it was possible to do alone, but the entire documentation and all. But since I am busy with my personal things and I was also scared of doing it alone. How would it work or if I would do it right or not. And then I searched a lot, I researched a lot and then I found about you. Then the documentation part was actually so very easy. Since you were there, it was easy. Sent all the documents to Germany and then it got translated here in Germany itself. The documents were submitted so fast. I think everything was done. Since everything was done in Germany, it went on in a speedy manner. Also, fastly, everything got executed. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then yeah, it took much more time again.
Timings and all those things are, this bureaucracy is always gonna take toll of you. Tell me about your FSP exam experience, because a lot of students have anxiousness that, how this exam is, is it too difficult to pass? Are the examiners are very strict or not? Do they fail everyone and all that? There are so much of rumors going on. Okay, so tell us about your personal experience that how it all went.
My exam was in April. I wrote the exam in Münster in Westfalen. Actually, the waiting time here is very less. I had to wait nearly for 28 days, I think. After submitting my request, my application, I just waited for 28 or 29 days to get the date. I got it real quick. I know people here who are waiting in Germany who are writing in different some other places in Germany who have waited for nearly 10 months, 11 months and all to get the date and the termin. For me, that happened very quickly. And regarding the exam I had the appointment at 3 p.m. and I waited till 4:30 to be called the time. So I waited for nearly 1.5 years. 1.5 hours. I reached the half an hour early and then I had to wait for 1.5 hours. It was nearly 2 hours I waited there. The time was actually, but I think since I waited for that much time, I got myself calmed. So For some time, I thought about the exam. Oh my god, how I'll go and all. But later, I just forgot about the exam. I was just enjoying the beauty through the window, the nature beauty through the window. So that time was actually useful to me since I was called late. That was useful to me, I think. And the chamber, it consisted of two men and a woman. These people were so old, like 85-year-old people were actually the examiners. And regarding the exam, it was not that easy for me. To be really honest, it was not that easy for me. Not because they asked me a lot of things about dentistry or and all. The examiner who played as the patient, he talked a lot. He was talking consistently. He was like unnecessary thing. What is irrelevant in the about the case? He was talking so much about that I think in order to make me confused.
Yeah.
Talked a lot of things about his neighbors and yeah, about his neighbor and all how is his pain, about his family. Yeah, about the disease, okay, but about the other his personal life, his neighborhood and all. He was talking a lot. Actually, it was difficult for me to to reach to a diagnosis by the end of the part one of the exam. But anyway, somehow I managed to do that. And as yeah, there is a second trial as well where we have to write the case like a documentation. Since the part one was a little bit difficult for me, or since the patient talked a lot to me, I was actually confused what to write and how to reach to a diagnosis, how to write it. I was confused in the mind. They made me confused. The case was not that difficult. The case was just a 80-year-old patient who is wearing a prosthesis in like a total prosthesis in upper and lower arches, and he is having a just a light wie sagt man, Schleimhautveränderung.
In German,
Yeah.
Stelle. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, he was having that. That was a Druckstelle, actually a really simple case. But how he presented it to me, how he talked to me, made it difficult for me to understand the thing. And in the third tire, regarding the Arzthausgespräch, it was not that difficult. It was actually, these questions were really simple, but since I was confused from the first tile itself, I found it a little bit difficult to answer the questions. To be honest, Druckstelle, that word didn't come to my mind. I thought for a minute or so to get that word. They made me that confused, but the concept was simple. The case was simple.
What are the questions did they ask? Do you remember some questions? If you can share.
Yeah, definitely. I remember all the questions actually. First, what is the patient's complaint and since when is he having that and what did he do to relieve that pain? That was a question I couldn't answer. That was the only question I couldn't answer because the patient was rinsing the mouth with an alcohol. That name, Quack. It's actually beer from Belgium origin or so. I don't remember. I googled it later. So he was rinsing the mouth with Quack. That's how he was relieving the pain. I didn't understand what Quack is. In the first time, I didn't understand what Quack was. So it was difficult for me to answer that question. And then they asked what could be the reason for this pain. And I told, yeah, it could be something like mucositis. And they told, no, what happens typically for a patient who is wearing a danger. So told, yeah, it Druckstelle. And then they told, yeah, it's actually Druckstelle. So I told the patient is wearing the danger for 30 years. How can a Druckstelle come in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? The patient is having the pain since 2 weeks. So I thought that it wouldn't be a Druckstelle because how can a Druckstelle come in 2 weeks and also a patient was wearing the danger since past 30 years. They told no, the bone is remodeling, right? So it's actually a Druckstelle. And then they asked what is being used in Germany most commonly when a patient come to a clinic with a mucosal change. What do you use? Which ointment or which a gel do you use? They ask. So the most common ones are, I told, yeah, the people use here Dontisolone. That's something I got from my clinic. I had to remember, yeah. Yeah, I have always seen here them using Dontisolone. So I told, yeah, Dontisolone. Then they asked, what is Dontisolone? I told, yeah, that's prednisolone. And regarding the application, they asked, like this Dontisolone should be applied on the underside of prosthesis, and the prosthesis should be worn by the patient, not directly on the mouth.
Yeah.
And Yeah, that was it. And much more things. Even new things that I came to know is this quark and all. That's an alcohol here. That was a new thing to me.
Did they not ask about anything else like filling materials and RCTs and all those things?
Nothing about filling or RCT or anything. That was the place where I wrote the exam. Means the most common case of mucosal changes, mucosal diseases.
Right.
The most common one is it, or trauma was another possibility. So I was expecting either a mucosal change or something like that, or a trauma.
And how were the examiners? Were they strict or what was the atmosphere? It was like, too much anxiousness was there and something like.
Then the place where this exam is going on, that's actually a big room, and there is nearly, I think, uh, a little bit more distance between us and the examiners. We have to speak loud, or else they won't hear it. There was a distance regarding the examiners. As I told you, they were two old people. Two of them were the two men were too old, like unable to walk. Such old people. They were actually a little bit strict. I think because of the age. I think they were not like so friendly or something. They were a little bit strict. They were asking the questions seriously, but there was also a woman. She was trying to make the atmosphere calm. She was smiling at sometimes at me. She was laughing when I told, like, I don't know what quark is and all. She was laughing, so she was trying to make the atmosphere calm, but the other two were not that easy. They were actually strict.
Actually, there are reason for it. See, one thing is what you said, the distance. No, they are trying to test you whether you can hear it properly. Okay, because from the distance you need to understand what they are saying.
I have to mention one more thing. One of the examiners were wearing a mask. And that was a trick, I think. He actually doesn't want to wear a mask, but he is testing whether we can understand the language even if they wear the mask.
Exactly.
Here, what's the thing is in the first days, in the initial phase, what we'll try to do is try to read the lips, uh, how the lips move. So we'll try to understand the words. So he was wearing a mask so that he can test if I could clearly understand just by hearing what he is saying.
Exam is more about the language control than your knowledge. Okay, so they want to know whether you understand the patient, whether you tell them right information, and do you understand their complaint.
One of the important things is that if you don't understand anything, or if you don't know about what they are speaking, just open up. I told the patient was having three diseases actually. Two of them I understood, one I didn't understand. I told them openly, I couldn't understand what you're telling. I don't know what kind of disease this is. So I need to contact your house, asked your doctor, who's your doctor who has prescribed you the medicine. I had to talk to him. I haven't understood this medicine and this disease. And the lady in the chamber, she was nodding the head. Like, yeah, you told it right. If you don't know, just accept it. If you don't understand the medicine, if you have not heard of a medicine of a disease, just accept it. You don't know about that. Don't they'll can easily catch that. You haven't understood that thing, they can understand that. If you become open and if you say that you have not understood that, your pass percentage is more. But if you try to act like, yeah, okay, understood, right? Yeah, that won't work. They'll have understood that you haven't understood that. So don't do that. Whatever you don't understand, just accept it like that.
Again, that's the point, no, because they are not here to test your knowledge. Actually, they are here to test your German skill. Okay, and they want more good people. Okay, so true people. So if you accept that, yeah, you don't understand, it's not bad, you can learn that thing, but you need to ready to be accept that. This FSP exam preparation, what are the tips you can give to the students, that how can they prepare good for the FSP exam? Hospitation and all this, you used to do the hospitation, as far as I know. How much role did it play? What are your suggestions here?
The hospitation played the major role, I would say. I could answer some questions that I told about this jaundice alone and all. If I haven't gone to a clinic, I would have never heard of something like that.
Yes.
So hospitation has a major part. I was here uh, in October, like mid October, and in the end of October itself, I started working in a clinic. For the first 3 months, I did a practicum. Till January, I was doing an internship, and from February, I was in assistance. That helped me a lot. to improve the language and all. I did till B2 in India and came here, but it was really difficult for me to understand the language. How you learned in India and how you heard German in India, that's entirely different from what you hear in actual Germany, from the actual German people. So hospitation has a major part because I could learn a lot of things, how the people are treated here, what are kind of medications they use, what are instruments they have, and also the language. Like in the initial days, it was like each person speaks different German. For it was like that for me. The accent was entirely different. How one person is speaking is different from how others person is speaking. So I could improve the language a lot through the clinic. So I would suggest you should do something like a practicum or a hospitation or assistance or anything in a clinic. If you are having such an exposure, that will be better. Just simply doing a course, just simply talking in the course, or just attending a course would not be enough. You can but it could be much more easier if you are doing a hospitation or something like that. It has helped me a lot.
About the work culture, I think that you have already found a job, no? So
Yeah, in the clinic where I was doing the practicum, I joined there itself.
yeah. So tell me about the work scenario. How is the work scenario there? And when you go to the work, how is the work culture? Do they are they friendly? Are they open about the foreign people, or are they racist, or do you face any racism? How is your experience regarding your boss and your staff and all that thing?
The clinic where I work, that's a huge clinic. That's actually not a clinic, it's a hospital. There are nearly 15, 16 dentists there and nearly 30, 35 assistants and all. It's a huge clinic. I have not faced anything like racism. Not, I would say, not from most of them. Not from most of them, but yeah, definitely there are some people when most of them didn't know that I come from India. So they always thought I am a European actually. From some European country I'm coming. So when they hear that you are from India, yeah, there are some people that ask, okay, you're from India and all. But the most of them are so very like very helpful, very generous, no problem. Yeah, it's mixed. There are good people, there are bad people. It's common, I think. And about the lighting, it's the leader, the chef. We don't have a single chef. We have four chefs. It's a huge catering. So the four people are yeah, four people. Yeah, four people are chef, and they are also very helpful. Actually, they help me a lot with this recognition process. For them also, a new person. Like there are all the 16 dentists who are working there. They are all Germans. I'm the only outsider. So for them as well, they were also trying to learn. They were also trying to understand how this thing works, how a foreign dentists come to Germany, how do they do the recognition process. They were also learning. They were also trying to understand. They were also trying to help me through the process. The people are really nice, and about the work culture, yeah, it is a little bit different from what we do in India. In the initial days, I thought everything is different or difficult. I couldn't understand a single thing because just 10 days after reaching here in Germany, I started in a clinic. Just 10 days. Even my language was not so that good. I was not able to understand the things. And there were like 20 rooms in the clinic. In each room, something is going on, and I was allowed to go to all the rooms, but in all the rooms, I couldn't understand what was going on. It took me nearly 3 months just to understand how those things work, what these people are doing, and all. There are some differences in instruments, materials, and all. Some are similar to what we do in India, but the most are different. I think, it will take nearly 6 months to get adjusted to that culture. Now I am somewhat okay, but yeah, that was difficult. These 6 months were actually difficult for me. Yeah, but now it's okay.
What are your thoughts and what are your suggestions to the all the aspirants who wants to come to the Germany?
Germany is one of the good countries. So for dentists to migrate, yeah, Germany is a good country. But I would say language is a problem. Definitely, it's a I would say, because for us, we are in medical field, right? We have to speak a lot. There were days when I thought, why did I do this? Why I should have gone to a place to a country where the people speak English? Why did I choose German? there have been such days. So it's difficult. You have to invest a lot of time. You have to be patient. Only then you can get adjusted to the system, the culture, the food, the language. Everything is difficult. For that, you have to prepare yourself, not for the exam. I think right now I think not for the exam or not for anything else, but to adjust to this culture, to this language, to their eating habits, to their language and all. That is difficult. So you have to prepare yourself. Here it's everything difficult, different for you. So you will have to be patient to get adapted to this, to mix up with them.
Open-minded, or
Person.
need to be open to accept all of them. Thank you very much, Dr. N, for your important time. We hope for your future success, and we hope that we hear that you soon clear your KP exam and give us your information then. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good. If you also have more doubts, then you can always contact me. The link is in the description box. Till then, have a nice day.